Hi, I'm Dr. Ellis Orozco, and thanks for listening to this video podcast. I hope you have a great weekend. Welcome, and thanks for listening in. I wanted us to reflect this weekend on this question. When's the last time God asked you to do something that scared you? There's this phrase in the Bible that occurs again and again, God telling his people, do not be afraid. In fact, some people have said that the do not be afraid is in the Bible 365 times, one for each day of the year. That's actually not true. But I like the idea. God does say it a lot. Do not be afraid. He seems to regularly be reminding his people to not be afraid. Why is that? It's because he is regularly placing them in a place where they have every right to be afraid. I mean, think about it. If God's people were always living in their comfort zone, if they were always living in this place of complete protection, then God would never have had to tell them, do not be afraid. It's only because he is regularly placing them in a place of fear that he has to remind them, do not be afraid. I was thinking about that as I was reading through the Gospel of Mark, and there's this place in Mark where Jesus is walking towards Jerusalem. He has already predicted twice to his disciples that he is going to Jerusalem and that he's going to die there. And so they know this. And there's this one place in the Gospel of Luke where it says Jesus set his face toward Jerusalem. That means Jesus resolved himself that he was going to go to Jerusalem, even though he knew what was going to happen there. And so there's this scene in Mark where he's leading this caravan of his followers to Jerusalem. They're making the journey for the Feast of Passover, and Jesus is going knowing that he's going to die. And this is what it says, Mark chapter 10, verse 32. They were on their way to Jerusalem with Jesus leading the way, and the disciples were astonished, while those who followed were afraid. So Mark mentions two groups. On the one hand, there are the disciples, and this is his closest group, the 12. And they were astonished. The word can also mean bewildered. What are they bewildered about? They're bewildered that Jesus is going to Jerusalem. He's been telling them what's going to happen there. They're going to capture me. They're going to beat me up. They're going to crucify me, and I'm going to die. So these disciples, his closest disciples, are wondering, why are you doing that? Why are we walking to Jerusalem? They were astonished and bewildered. And then the rest of the followers, the other men and women who followed Jesus everywhere, they were in the caravan too. And it says that they were afraid. They knew something bad was going to happen in Jerusalem. So this is what it looks like to follow Jesus. We're all together on this caravan. Jesus is leading the way through life. And sometimes he takes us to some places that are kind of scary. So let me ask you this question. When's the last time you did something for Jesus that took you outside of your comfort zone? When's the last time God asked you to do something that scared you just a little bit? If following Jesus for you means always staying in your comfort zone, if everything you ever do for Jesus is simple and easy, then I would suggest you might be missing something. You might not be hearing him when he's asking you to do the hard thing and the scary thing. Think about that and have a great weekend.